Good morning, or is it afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks, Aura, for the introduction. As Aura has mentioned, my name is Jabulile Ratsibe. I apologize for not being on site today. I had traveled over the weekend, and with a number of people that were in the environment that I was in, I had to take, I thought that it is important that I take the necessary precautions and stay at home, as I may have been exposed to COVID, and I would not be at this stage be able to tell as to whether, I was indeed or not. As you know, as a company, safety is important to us, and therefore we always have to make sure that we do what is necessary to operate safely. May I also take this time to remind everyone that we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and we should continue to wear our masks over our mouthpiece and our nose, and also to sanitize, keep a safe distance, and make sure that we continue to be safe. I must thank all 414 of you that connected to our session for a period of over 30 minutes and longer yesterday. We certainly do not take that for granted. Without much further ado, I would also like to first and foremost thank the ladies that put this event together. Often than not, when we have these kind of events, we tend to thank people right at the end, and sometimes we forget to actually, do the dues in a much more proper manner. But I thought that it is important that I thank Connie, Julie, Mvundo, as well as Zippo, who actually set up this event for us. And also to Kelly, who actually had to stand in the gap when the time called. It is that kind of agility that we do appreciate from our team members. So thank you so much, team, for making this possible. I also would like to, I'm also proud of the work that they have done, and also, judging by the feedback that we have received, I get the sense that they have done a great job. To George and the Last Man Standing team, thank you so much. You have been awesome. I know the amount of work that has been involved in terms of getting everything going, setting this up in the manner that you have. It has actually been, great. Aura, thank you for leading us during these past 2 days and for always availing yourself to us as in the Enterprise and Supplier Development team when we call upon you. We know that we can always rely on your availability and obviously the passion that you have for the small businesses comes true. To Mr. Lukele, who chose to celebrate his birthday with us yesterday in our company, we really do appreciate and also thank him for ushering us in so eloquently. As we close this chapter, I would like to extend our gratitude to our speakers and panelists. Zoxolo, Phumzile, and Khomotso, you've been great. You've been a great gift to us. Through you, we know that this pandemic is not just a challenge, but it also presents an opportunity that we also need to grab with open arms. Khomotso reminded us that you can actually do it, even if no one believes in you. I remember a conversation that we had when he was looking at getting into this fiber space, and there were some sentiments that were around no one in South Africa is doing this, and why would an SME at that be able to do it? But he has indeed proven that, where there is a will, there's a way. Mpupi, thanks for the context on available platforms. I think, as mentioned, we encourage SMEs that are registered with Sasol to make sure that that are vendors with us and also that have been on our enterprise development programs to make sure that they register themselves on the linkage platform, which is the platform that we use. As also maybe a challenge that I would like to put out to the SMEs. As SMEs, do you know what platforms the companies that you're interested to do business with are actually using? Quite a number of corporates in South Africa are using various platforms, and there obviously are those that are driven by the various enterprise development companies. So for you to be able to access opportunities that are out there, not only from our company, but from other businesses, do you know which platforms you should actually be trying to make sure that you're registered in? There's a question that came through from our side that asks as to whether there is a fee to register on linkage, and the answer is no. We do not charge SMEs to register on linkage. I think you would also have noticed that in this event, we've tried to make sure that we collaborate with a number of small businesses. As enterprise development, we think that it is important that we walk the talk, if I may call it that, and not only focus on using big businesses when we've got events of this nature, but actually have examples that are coming out from small businesses that we work with. Mpopi was talking more about Linkage because they are the service provider of Linkage, and it is a 100% Black women-owned business. For those that always keep on saying that Sasol is not open for Black businesses, we indeed are. For RAMS, you said a lot yesterday. You held us to account. Thanks for always being real. Sometimes we need to understand the realities of running small businesses and make sure that we also do our part and not look at it as a responsibility that corporates need to discharge. We now get it. You have asked us many times, and we also believe that maybe it is time for us to do what we need to do for ourselves. MJ, your passion for all things digital and your willingness to share your knowledge is always appreciated. Loyiso and Zamani, you gave us food for thought when it came to the threat of the cyber crimes that we are exposed to as we try to transition from the brick and mortar environments that we operate in and become more prominent in the digital space. We thank you for preparing us in terms of giving us insights on what we need to do as we think about countering the cybersecurity. Shukari, I think you have nailed it in the head. We first need to know ourselves as businesses and more importantly as small businesses. You said that we need to know ourselves, we need to look great. And for those that do not know, our development and support team offers support in terms of ensuring that the marketing collateral of the various companies is actually at the right level, so that we can be able to get to the point where people see us or small businesses and actually we look professional, and the services that we're offering are actually articulated properly. Blink is a service provider to Sasol. It is specifically contracted to be able to support small businesses that need to do website and make sure that we have those search engine optimized websites up and running, and they are there to make sure that they assist us with that. To Lincoln, your grace and sense of service by joining us at this pivotal time in your career is truly appreciated. Your presence demonstrates your passion for the small businesses. Siyabulela lao. Thanks for bringing it all together. I think if we listen to Lincoln, it actually brought in all the different topics that we had yesterday, and certainly not only about the technical stuff, but about the soft stuff that we need to make sure that we link in as we do the work, transfer the hands to the heart. Brian, thanks for translating everything we have to practical tools that we can actually make use of. I don't think that there is anybody that will leave today and not know what tools maybe they can actually make use of in their various businesses. Yes, I was meant to wrap up to the chapter and introduce a new chapter that we're looking at in terms of the series that we are running. As we have said yesterday, this is a 4-part series. The first one was around focusing on basically how do we survive as businesses. So I thought that maybe let me just address a few questions that came through. I thought I heard Aura saying I am going to be answering questions right now. That was most certainly not the plan. I was actually quite grateful that I'm one of, I'm the lucky one that is not going to be able to respond questions, because that is not an area that I navigate very well to deal with things live. So I wanted to just talk to the whole issue around, or the question around accessing opportunities. Most of the SMEs that we work with are either registered on Ariba, and now they're saying, why are you introducing linkage? You're just creating challenges for us. You're moving the goalpost. In reality, linkage is being introduced as a response to the challenges that we experience by the small businesses. We have the Ariba as a platform that we use for sharing RFQs, so we'll not be translating or moving RFQs to the linkage platform. We'll still, as Sasol, operate on the Ariba platform. We've tried to make it easy. Firstly, we have introduced Ariba support. So if you go to any of our centers in Sasolburg and Secunda and you're struggling to get into Ariba, you can be supported. There is a dedicated 100% Black women-owned business that can actually assist you with the challenges that we're actually experiencing. So we do encourage you, if you are at the stage where you've had an Ariba registration, you don't know where things are and need that kind of support. But over and above that, we source businesses, specifically when we've got contracts that are coming up. We go onto Ariba sourcing, and we use that to send the RFQs to businesses. And when they respond, we expect them to be responding back on the Ariba platform. So it is critical that people understand that when we actually transact, we transact on Ariba. But I must emphasize that we do send out RFQs even if you are not a Sasol vendor. We're seeing there's a lot of pressure in terms of saying, I'm not getting anything because, I need a vendor number, when we've got contracting opportunities, we do source and invite people even if they are not Sasol vendors. So it is not a question of you will not get a RFQ opportunity because you're not on Ariba. What is the reason why we introduced linkage was to create more visibility for our buyers and our contract specialists to be able to get an understanding in terms of, as a business, what scope do you have and which area are you operating in. Linkage gives us that sense. And as Mpupi said yesterday, it is also important for us as corporates to understand in terms of, in the level of business, where are you as a business? You will understand that there are certain fundamentals that we cannot move away from, and therefore it is critical for us to understand. For an example, are you registered on CIPC? Are you a tax-paying business? Do you have references? Now, one of the questions that came through yesterday was that, how do you expect us to be getting the references if you're not giving us work? But I want to ask you, as a business, would you take somebody that is walking down the streets that you do not know whether they can actually be able to execute the service and get them to be a service provider in your own business? It's the same approach that we're taking. Some of us as users use a platform, Brown Sense, that is on Facebook. You will get a service provider, and the question that you maybe would be looking at is, have they done work for somebody before? Are they legit? Can I see somebody that says that these guys have done brilliant work? Those are the things that you will be looking at as a consumer. So equally, as a responsible company, we have to do the same. We've got to make sure that we've got mechanisms of picking up whether we're dealing with legit businesses, whether we're dealing with businesses that have got a track record in terms of what they're doing, and also whether they are compliant in terms of the laws of the country. So the linkage platform gives us that opportunity to be able to get that sense of visibility so that we can be able to transact with you effectively. So in relation to accessing opportunities, our buyers would be going on linkage platform to understand which businesses are there. You will be graded when you go to the platform. If you are platinum, it means that you are at a point where we can actually transact with you. However, if you have not reached the platinum stage, there could be reasons for that. It could be compliance related. It could be that you don't have, the right information in terms of, proving how you have been operating that particular business. We've seen many businesses that are registered for 5 years, but have you actually done work as a particular business? And you'd find more often than not that the answer is no. Yes, your business has been operating for 5 years, but has it been trading in relation to the service that you say you're doing? So if you offer a service, whether it is about or you are offering goods, have you done it for long? Do you understand the complexities around the service that you're offering? Do you understand the certification requirements around the service that you're offering? So this is the sense that we want to get in terms of the linkage platform. We also, some businesses have asked the question to say, but I am graded platinum on linkage, or I am on your Ariba, why am I not receiving opportunities? When we have opportunities available, when the opportunities are contracted, you will note that these will be contracted for a period. It could be 2 years, could be 3 years. So during that period, when a service or goods that we require are contracted for, that opportunity does not become available. I am sure you would appreciate as a business that if you were to receive a contract, you would not all of a sudden expect that that contract would no longer be available for you today, it's given to somebody else tomorrow. I'm sure you would also appreciate the fact that there are quite a number of competitors that are actually providing the same service that you do. You've heard throughout the 2 days people talking about understanding your competition. This becomes critical because you have to look at how do you position yourself differently from the competitors that you have. So if you don't look into that, then we could actually end up having challenges in relation to, 20 of you, 30 of you, 40 of you are operating in the same space. We obviously cannot be giving business to 40 people at the same time because the size of the contract at some point then will become negligible. So I think it is critical that we look at those kind of factors and really ensure that, we prepare ourselves accordingly. And on our side, we unfortunately cannot overlook things that are critical to ensure that we as a business are successful. Another issue that seems to be coming up is the whole issue around funding. One of the chapters that we are going to be looking at, which is basically looking at upgrading and optimizing, the next chapter, which is opportunity to improve, will not only be talking systems, but we'll be talking access to funding as well. So it is important that we make sure that you join us to learn a little bit more, especially if you found these 2 days to be quite valuable. So I just thought that maybe looking at those 3 key things. How are we allowing people to access us as a business? Why do we have the mechanisms that, why are we following the path that we're following? And why do we seem to keep on adding another technology over what we already have? It is trying to address the challenges that people have highlighted, and we're trying to make sure that the access is actually open to everybody. We do not want to rely on people going on historical data in terms of where they transacted. We think it is important to understand, to have new entrants coming in, but also to understand their service offering and the fundamentals around the service that they offer. So I'm hoping that, in that way, I've tried to address some of the things that we need to talk about. As I've mentioned, in relation to the funding specifically, we'll be tackling that in the next chapter that we will have, and we really hope that you'll be able to join us. In terms of the next chapter, we will be looking at the opportunity to improve. We would like to make sure that we look at the systems and processes. I mean, you've heard a lot about some of the tools that you can use. So what are some of those things that you need to do differently in terms of your processes in your businesses that can maybe be able to take you forward? And thereafter, we'll be looking at upgrading and optimizing, which is really around ramping up and making sure that, now that you have the business and you have the customers, are you managing them effectively? And then lastly, looking at forecasting and thriving and making sure that we embrace. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would really like to thank you for the time that you've taken to be with us for this 2 days or a day and a half, and we really do hope that you found value in what we had to offer. And also, we do know that a lot of business feel that they do not need development, they are ready, all they need is opportunities. We appreciate that, but we also do appreciate that there are certain businesses that could find value in terms of some of those strategies that they can implement in their environments to make sure that they can access opportunities, not only with us, Sasol as an organization, but with other companies out there as well. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Ora, for, as I have mentioned, leading us up to this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Jabulile. Much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I think we've spent great time together. I just want to express my sincere gratitude to all the speakers. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all of you. both from engaging in terms of the sessions, but most importantly, for being the leaders in our communities, for building businesses that are going to empower our mothers, empower our kids, empower uncles that comes from different societies. This is exactly what we need as the South African society. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm just going to end off the session by reading the positive sentiments that are coming from our virtual teams. We have Kumo Engineering Project saying thank you, Sasol ESD, for such informative and engaging initiative. It purely portrays good synergy in moving forward post-lockdown and reviving of the economy and impact and participation with the service providers. And then we also have the same sentiments shared by Fehana Dickens, saying thank you, very insightful, very informative initiative. And then we have Seshni joking there, says, I will gladly take the 500K. Remember, I've made a mistake with that 500K. Seshni, we don't have 500K. But we are grateful that at least we could offer you, a token of appreciation. And then we have Vanessa Fortune again. I have so many takeaways from this webinar. So amazing. I look forward to future learning. Following on what Vanessa is saying, we'll really appreciate feedback on how we can do better. We'll really appreciate feedback on who we should bring again on stage in terms of new speakers. Allow us to know your pain points so that we can position this seminar in the way that it can fit in with your expectations. We have Tabin Glovu saying, very productive session. Thank you, Sasol. We have Luis Lerato Globe saying the session was very beneficial, highly appreciated. And then we have a couple of questions that already Jabulile has answered. And I just want to, end off by saying, Jabu, we are thankful to have leaders like you in our organization at Sasol. We are thankful as well to have Lebelo in leading us and inspiring us to have sessions like this, to really instill that sense of purpose in us. And once again, the sense of purpose that goes beyond the borders of self, the sense of purpose that helps us to not only think about ourselves, but consider the needs of others. And those others, we tell them today as SME. To everybody else, I thank you. Thank you.